Alright, here we are today. I've got a collection of 20 assorted files that I just recently obtained. Yeah, they're all in pretty good shape. The majority are missing the handles. The handles that are here are original and in good shape considering the age, but they are cracked. Actually, there is one that's original on this triangle file that is not cracked. It's actually in very good shape. So we're just gonna bring that back to its former glory. Okay, so yeah, that one's really good. I wish they all were like that. But the remainder, they're missing the handles. We've got a small one here that's cracked with where the tang is missing, but we're gonna save that. Okay, we'll create a tang on that. It'll be a little shorter of a file, but that's okay. It'll still be very usable. These are all good quality files. They vary in age. I'd say the oldest one being about turn of the century, so probably turn of the prior century, so probably around 1900, maybe a little bit before. Okay, so out of all the files that we had 20. We selected this round file, okay, because we don't really have a good round file in the shop, okay, and this is a really good one. It's got a wood handle that looks like a replacement handle of sorts. This is let's see if it's got a maker's mark on it. Yeah, it says Delta Road Smooth. Overall length of 12.5. The file area itself is 9.5. It's a complete, very straight. It's got a straight shank, not bent, so it's a very good candidate. The teeth themselves look very, very good. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of rust on there, not much. So what we're going to utilize is blue and rust remover from Birchwood Casey. Yeah, I don't think it's enough rust on there to let it soak overnight like in a bath of vinegar or anything like that. So that rust remover has been on there for a couple minutes. Just got some tap water. Gonna wipe that off. That'll stop the chemical reaction. And yeah, put that to the side. Yeah, so like I said, there's very little rust on that. There was very little rust and now there's none. So we're going to take this over to the wire wheel, get that cleaned up. Alright, so we can reduce the likelihood of rust in the future, okay, especially in the low areas and on the handle. We're going to blue this file, okay. So we've degreased it, and we're just going to degrease it one more time. Hit it with this degreasing fluid. Alright, and then we'll dry it off well with a heat gun. So bluing is always a good option. on any type of non-ferrous material or metal to reduce the likelihood of rusting. Okay, so we're gonna blue this object. You can see the bluing taking effect right away. We're gonna do the entire file because you know what? Of course, the cutting edge of the file will be exposed when you use it. This will just reduce the exposure. Okay, still going to have a limited amount of exposure, but this is really going to reduce the exposure significantly. Okay, because all the low spots that will not make contact with the surface that you're filing, those areas and the handle will stay corrosion resistant. Let that sit for a couple minutes. By the way, we're using Birchwood Casey Perma Blue on that, so used it several times on a bunch of projects. It always works well. Alright, we're back a couple minutes later. We're just gonna hit this with some tap water just to stop the bluing or the rusting process, chemical reaction, whatever you want to call it. Alright, so you need to make sure that you do that, neutralize that acid. Okay, because if you do not, it will continue to, continue to have an effect. And honestly, the effect will not be good. The effect will be negative. It will rust. Okay, because bluing is just a form of rusting. Or rusting is a form of bluing, however you want to look at it, So. Okay, so we dried that off really well. And we're going to oil this. Looks beautiful. Look at that. Beautiful satin black. Delta smooth. Looks great. So we're going to hit that with some lubricant. Clean up this excess lubricant. We hit that with liquid wrench super lubricant because that will not only protect it from rusting, it will also displace any water that might have still been left on there, which is always possible. Alright, so now that we hit that with the super lubricant, we're just going to hit it with some 30 weight. Okay, to really give it a good coating. So the vintage handle was nice, but I didn't like the cracks that were in it, the cuts that were in it. So I decided to go with this other handle. It's a little bit bigger. It's got a little bit more girth to it, and yeah, it looks good. It looks good. So we're just test fitting this, and I think it's pretty close. Add a little bit more linseed oil. Yeah, looks good. I like it. All right. So we got a nicely restored round file. Blued it. The bluing came out gorgeous on it. Really did. Look at the bluing on that. It's nice as any gun barrel. Fitted a replacement handle on there. Came out really nice. Linseed oil. like a brand new tool. The file itself is probably in the neighborhood of 100 years old.